Welcome to Ackerman Recap. After winning against Musashi, Motobe was immediately taken to the hospital. Baki also came to visit Motobe and sincerely apologized for misunderstanding him. Upon hearing Motobe say, "I want to protect you," everyone doubted him, believing that he couldn't accomplish that. Motobe acknowledged that they were not wrong, as it would be the thought of anyone wondering how an old man could protect everyone. Baki bowed in apology. Motobe revealed the reason to strengthen his determination to protect everyone. Baki, the world's strongest child, inheritor of the definition of strength. Ogre, the world's strongest creature, regarded as a deity. Shibukawa's Aikido technique is also a national treasure. Doppo, the father of modern karate, he is the son of karate. Hanayama, Katsumi, Pickle, Gaia, all of them are treasures of this era. The police arrived at Tokugawa's house and requested the arrest of Musashi. However, as soon as they saw Musashi, he fled. Musashi considered this a war and stepped outside. Toku worried about the swordsman and advised him not to go because it was very dangerous out there. "You're really kind, Tokugawa," Musashi said as he knelt down and embraced the old man before departing. He expressed his gratitude and then left. The inspector asked Musashi to come to the precinct with him. Of course, Musashi would not agree. "Do you intend to confront an entire nation?" the inspector inquired. And the swordsman confidently stated that he could do it. The police officers surrounded Musashi with their guns and weapons. The samurai used his speed to escape from the encirclement and began to attack. The police force surrounded him once again, and Musashi cut through them with an imitation cut. They all fell after a single strike, and Musashi walked away. While the swordsman was starting a fire under the bridge, a police officer approached. At this moment, an elite force of 100 soldiers surrounded Musashi. The inspector demanded the strongest swordsman to surrender. However, Musashi still stood there, and this officer drew his gun to threaten the samurai. The elite police force of 100 officers waited for a signal from the inspector, who was negotiating with Musashi alone. While they were talking, the commanding officer noticed something unusual and ordered everyone to be alert. From a distance, a shadow appeared, but it wasn't the inspector. It was Musashi himself. The samurai tossed something to the commanding officer, which turned out to be the inspector's gun from earlier. "This has been an interesting fight," Musashi remarked. "Damn it!" the commanding officer exclaimed in extreme anger. A few minutes earlier, the inspector had been threatening Musashi with the gun. The swordsman challenged him to shoot if he could see the path of his sword. Then he began counting, 1, 2, 3, and disappeared. The inspector panicked and fired wildly. Musashi had approached from below and started cutting the inspector. The gun was sliced in half, and the fingers began to fall. At this moment, the inspector still had a glimmer of consciousness left before collapsing with his body cut in half. Musashi looked at his opponent's lifeless body, kneeling down as a final farewell. Back in the present, the commanding officer ordered everyone to open fire. Special rubber bullets were fired at Musashi. The legendary swordsman gracefully swung his sword, instantly slicing the rubber bullets in half, causing the police officers to break out in a cold sweat. Musashi advanced, and the police officers scattered to both sides, leaving only the commanding officer in the middle. Suddenly, the commanding officer leaped to the left. A very large bullet was fired. Musashi used his superhuman speed to swiftly evade it. What was fired was a gun mounted on the vehicle. Musashi glanced at the firearm and drew his sword, delivering a devastating strike straight down. The large gun, along with the vehicle, was severed in two. The overwhelming display of power struck fear into the hearts of the police officers. The commander pulled out a taser gun, and it was his last hope. He quickly shot Musashi with it, and the high-voltage electricity made Musashi's skeleton visible to them. The current from this modified gun could reach up to 50,000 volts. A powerful electric current surged throughout Musashi's body for a while before he collapsed. The police officers called for medical assistance, although it proved unnecessary. Because Musashi had opened his eyes and quickly stood up, the swordsman suspected it was a poison. And this was the first time he had been seriously poisoned like this. It was unbelievable that a 50,000-volt electrical current had run through his body and didn't incapacitate Musashi for even 5 seconds. This realization left the commanding officer trembling in fear. Musashi, consumed by anger, swiftly struck down the commanding officer, causing the police officers nearby to panic. Their commanders' heads fell, and it seemed that their fighting spirit was also gone. Musashi approached another police officer with lightning speed, and with a series of cuts, vertical, diagonal, horizontal, he rendered the officer's sturdy shield into pieces. Musashi let out a loud shout, causing the police officers to clear his path as he walked away, a resolute figure. Not long after Musashi's extraordinary feat with the bulletproof shield was reported to the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister began to piece together the events, realizing the seriousness of the situation. They had indeed created a true Musashi. The Prime Minister convened an emergency meeting and ordered the military to capture Musashi. They equipped themselves with the most advanced weaponry, hoping to apprehend the legendary swordsman. It was Musashi's first time seeing helicopters. Dozens of armored vehicles were ready and waiting for Musashi, but he showed no fear as he sped towards them. Musashi swiftly maneuvered through the gaps between the vehicles. The threat level was set to 4, and the commander ordered everyone to be on high alert. Their reaction was swift, but it wasn't enough against Musashi. He had disappeared. At this moment, the colleagues of the inspector saw something, a shadow behind the inspector. Without hesitation, Musashi delivered a swift strike, causing the commanding officer of the force to fall. Everyone began to encircle Musashi, but he quickly vanished. Then he reappeared, cutting down both people and weapons. Musashi was surrounded once again, with individuals falling one by one, unable to stop him. The samurai continued to use this technique, vanishing, reappearing, and eliminating groups of people before disappearing again. The force was in disarray, unable to do anything. Musashi understood the true capability of this force. They were not his match. He ordered everyone to leave immediately. As if it were a direct command from their leader, they hastily retreated, and the battle came to an end. The video has come to an end. Please leave your comments in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with the latest videos from me. For now, goodbye and see you again, everyone.